We're back in the world of Elden Ring with the 1.04 update. So be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So you'll see that when you are kind of in the main game, it'll give you the 1.04 update as being an option at the bottom corner of the screen. So cool, we're back in Elden Ring going over the patch notes. So they've added an option to turn camera auto rotate function on/off and added some event phases for NPC patches. I want to quickly mention that there have been some other adjustments. Ooh, I did not mean to do that. Okay, well, my jellyfish is now pissed. Anyways, so yeah, there have been some performance changes and whatnot. We're on the Series X showcasing the performance mode. We'll be moving around the world kind of doing that and talking about the patch notes so you can see in action. See for yourself if there's any big improvements. It does seem like the fluidity is just a little bit better, so they did kind of improve that. And another note for later down on the list, they did mention that they improved the performance and the online functionality of the game, so when you connect with others and whatnot. So balance adjustments. They've increased Colossal Swords / Colossal Weapons attack speed and lowered their recovery time. Jump attack not included. So I think some people that are casters and some people that are slashers are going to be a little bit happy with this. Increase the two-handed attack damage of the Colossal Sword / Colossal Weapons. Jump attack not included. Increase physical block rate and guard boost of the Colossal Sword, Colossal Weapons, Great Sword, Great Hammer, Great Axe, Great Spear, and Halberd weapon classes. So that's kind of exciting too. Increase the damage of the Grafted Blade Greatsword. Increase the damage of the Devourer's Scepter. Decrease the scaling of status effects build-up from spells and incantations of Albanic Staff and Dragon Communion Seal. Ooh, I guess we should continue along this path here. Decrease the effect of the Great Shield Talisman for weapons with a high block rate. Shorten the length of the Madness Afflicted animation. Lowered the speed of Madness build-up recovery. Slightly increased FP and stamina growth rate at lower levels. I did not want to get off my horse. Players will need to perform any of the following actions for the changes to be reflected. This is required only once. New characters created after this update will not require this action. Level up. Activate Godric's Great Rune. Re-equipping any equipment, armor, talisman, which grants bonus stats to strength, dexterity, vigor, endurance, intelligence, faith, or arcane. Other enemy / weapon balances. So, there you go. I keep meaning to do not that with my with my horse. Oh, there we go. That was what I was hoping for. What's up, guys? Everybody's just kind of like taking it today. Sorcery / incantation. Crystal Barrage. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Gavel of Haba. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Allows caster to more easily withstand enemies' attacks while casting. Shatter Earth. Increased cast speed and decrease recovery time. Allows caster to more easily withstand enemies' attacks while casting. We've got Thop's Barrier. So increased area of effect and slightly increase the effect duration. Renala's Full Moon. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Seems pretty standard for a lot of these things. Carrion Greatsword. Increased cast speed at lower dexterity. Magma Shot. Decreased FP cost and increased cast speed. Rolling Magma. Increased cast speed and decreased time until magma explodes. Yes. Gilmore's Fury. Gilmer's? Slightly decrease the random nature of projectiles' range and increase the damage of Lava Pool, increase the hitbox as well. So we've got Wrecker's Rancor, decreased FP cost, Oracle Bubbles, increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Great Oracular Bubble, increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Briars of Sin, decreased recovery time, increased blood loss buildup on enemy. Briars of Punishment, decreased recovery time, increased the build-up on enemy. Explosive... Okay, we did Briars of Sin, Briars of Punishment. It's the same thing basically for both of those. Increased whatever time and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so those two are the same. Explosive Ghost Flame, decreased FP cost and recovery time. Tibia's Summon, increased damage and cast speed. Aspects of Crucible Tail, decreased FP and stamina cost. And aspects of Crucible Horns, decreased FP and stamina cost, increase cast speed, increase the distance traveled when not charged, and made it easier to cause enemies to flinch when charged. So lots of great improvements there. If you everything's just like an insta kill nowadays. Lots of changes overall, I would say tons. Elden Stars, increase cast speed and decrease recovery time. Blackblade, decreased stamina consumption and decreased recovery time. I should probably kill this thing. Blackblade, decreased stamina consumption, decreased recovery time. I think that's the same as the last one. Discus of Light, decreased FP cost, increased damage and cast speed. Triple Rings of Light, increased damage. Radagon's Rings of Light, decreased FP cost, increased damage and cast speed, decreased recovery time. Lightning Strike, decreased stamina, increased cast speed, and decreased recovery time. Honed Bolt, increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Ancient Dragon's Lightning Spear, decreased FP and stamina cost, increased cast speed, and decreased recovery time. Allows caster to more easily withstand enemy attacks while casting. That's pretty top-notch, isn't it? Let's see. Horned Bolt, increased cast speed and decreased recovery time, which I think we just said. We did the Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike, decreased recovery time. Lanciex Glaive, decreased FP and stamina cost, increased cast speed, and decreased recovery time. Allows caster to more easily withstand enemy attacks while casting. The Fortisax's Lightning Spear, decreased FP and stamina cost, increased cast speed, and decreased recovery time. Allows the caster to withstand enemy attack while casting more easily. That's good. Frozen Lightning Spear, decreased stamina cost, increased cast speed, and decreased recovery time. Allows caster to more easily withstand enemy attacks while casting. Very repetitive, some of this stuff. Death Lightning, decreased FP cost, increased duration of death accumulating smoke. O Flame, increased damage. Giant's Flame, take the decreased stamina cost. Flame of the Fell God, decreased FP cost and increased damage. Whirlo Flame, increased damage and decreased recovery time. Burno Flame, increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Let's go and let's travel the lakes, I think might be a very good idea. Black Flame, increased damage, and spell can break enemies' guard more easily. Scouring Black Flame, decreased FP cost and recovery time, increased attack range and area of effect. Black Flame Ritual, reduced FP cost and increased damage. Gurkhan's Beast Claw, increased damage and decreased the recovery time. So I need to be going this way. With the Spectral Steed, Blood Flame Talons, decreased FPS cost and increased cast speed. Horse. Jeez. And this is the right way, right? Sorry, I gotta, make sure my direction... Yeah, I think this is the right way. And then we've got the Blood Boon, increased damage, increased cast speed, and decreased effect startup time, decreased recovery time. Pest Threads, decreased stamina cost. Scarlet Aeona, increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Allows caster to more easily withstand enemy attacks while casting. Unendurable Frenzy, increased cast speed and decreased recovery time, decrease the random nature of the projectile's range, and increase madness buildup on enemies. Inescapable Fury, increased cast speed. Planeduct's Ruin, decreased FP, stamina cost, and recovery time, and made it easier to cause enemies to flinch when charged. We've got Dragon Claw, which I think we just did, and Dragon Maw, decreased FP, stamina cost, recovery time, increased cast speed, made it easier to cause enemies to get flinched. So basically, that's the same thing between those ones. Oh wow, yeah, I always forget how chunky this thing is. Yeah, it's always a chunky beast. Never want to fight that thing. Greoli's Roar, decreased FP, stamina cost, and recovery time. Alright, so now we're on to the upward and downward adjustments. Adula's Moonblade, decreased the power of single cast and improved performance so that the blades and frost hit more consistently and continuously. Increased cast speed at lower dexterity. Flame, Fall Upon Them, decreased damage of single cast and improved the performance so that the enemy hits the enemy multiple times. Decreased FP cost. This really does seem to be like a lot more fluid. I don't know if I'm crazy in that regard. We are going to take a brief time to switch over to the performance prioritize quality. And we're going to see how that is impacted. So we did Flame Upon Thee. So now Howl of Shabiri. Decrease the madness buildup on the enemy. Increase cast speed and decreased recovery time. Downward adjustment. Swarm of Flies. Decreased blood loss buildup on enemy. The Flame of Frenzy. Decreased madness buildup on enemy. Frenzied Burst. Decreased madness buildup on enemy. Weapon adjustments. Lion's Claw. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Ooh, you are a big crabfish monster thing. Yes, you are. Kick. Increased cast speed. Horae's Lutz's Earth Shaker. Increased cast speed. Increased speed upon follow-up input. Decreased recovery time. Actually, are we still... I want to get my Horus. Troll's Roar. Decreased stamina cost, increased cast speed. On follow-up input, increased distance traveled. Giant Hunt. Decreased recovery time. Storm Assault. Decreased recovery time. Carrying Greatsword. Increased cast and increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Increased damage when charged and made it easier to cause enemies to flinch. Carrion Grandier. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Increased the damage when charged and made it easier to cause enemies to flinch. Gravitas. Increase cast speed. Flaming Strike. Increase the travel distance of a stepping cleave in a strong attack. Black Flame Tornado. Added hitbox to weapon when spinning, and added a window to roll during the attack to cancel the animation. Lightning Slash. Increased cast speed. Added a hitbox to the stomp animation. Sacred Blade. Increased cast speed. Sacred Ring of Light. Increased cast speed. Poisonous Mist. You guessed it. Increased cast speed. Poison Moth Flight. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Ice Spear. Added a hitbox to the weapon's spinning animation. Chilling Mist. Increased cast speed. Assassin's Gambit. Increased cast speed. Shield Bash. Increased cast speed. Blade of Gold. Decreased stamina cost, increased cast speed, and decreased the recovery time. This place looks really spooky right now. Blade of Death. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Golden Tempering. Decreased FPS cost and increased cast speed. Increased effect duration. Last Rites. Increased cast speed. Mists of Slumber. Increased cast speeds. Uyachod's Dancing Blade. Increased travel distance. Added a window to roll during the attack to cancel the animation. Unblockable Blade. Increased cast speed with the weapon-coated sword. Alabaster Lord's Pull. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Added a window to roll during the attack to cancel the animation. Are we still... We literally went in a circle. That is hilarious. Okay. Unlock Blade. We talked about that stuff. Alabaster's Lord's Pull. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Added a window to roll during the attack to cancel the animation, which I think we talked about. Sorry about that. Establish Order. Decreased recovery time and increased cast speed on follow-up input. Increased damage. Made it easier to cause enemies to flinch. Moonlight Greatsword. Decreased FPS cost, or FP cost. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Increased the frost buildup during the skill duration. Wave of Gold. Decreased the FP cost. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Wolf's Assault. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. The Queen's Black Flame. Increased cast speed. Added a window to roll during the attack to cancel animation. Dynast's Finesse. Decreased stamina cost. Flowing Form. Decreased stamina cost. Death Flare. Increased cast speed. Onyx Lord's Repulsion. Increased cast speed and decreased the recovery time. Added a window to roll during the attack to cancel the animation. Magma Guillotine. Decreased stamina cost, increased cast speed, decreased recovery time on follow-up input. First Blood Slice. Increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Ice Lightning Sword. Increased cast speed. Added a hitbox to the stomp animation. Rose's Summons. Decreased the recovery time. I Command Thee, Kneel. Increased cast speed including follow-up input. Added a window to roll during the attack to cancel the animation. Goldbreaker. Decreased FPS cost, or FP cost, increased cast speed, and decreased recovery time. Familiar Rancor. Added a window to roll during the attack to cancel the animation. Nebula. increased cast speed and decreased recovery time with the weapon's bastard stars. Regal Beastclaw, increased cast speed. Devourer of Worlds, increased cast speeds. Wow, cast speeds are going through the roof. Regal Beastclaw, increased cast speed. Devourer of Worlds, increased cast speeds. Yeah, I think we said those, right? Regal Beastclaw, Devourer of Worlds, both increased cast speeds. Regal Roar, decreased recovery time. Spear Call Ritual, decreased recovery time. Ancient Lightning Spear, decreased FP cost, and increased cast speed, allows player to more easily withstand enemies while casting. The Great Serpent Hunt, decreased recovery time and increased damage, allows players to more easily withstand attacks from enemies. Oh, this place looks beautiful. And then we have the Frenzy Flame Thrust, decreased FP cost, or decreased recovery time, decreased madness built up on self. Blood Boon Ritual, increased cast speed. Micula's Ring of Light, increased cast speed. Sea of Magma, increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. Added a window to roll during the attack to cancel the animation. Wow, this really does look quite enchanting. Flame Dance, decreased stamina cost, increased recovery time, added a window to roll during the attack to cancel the animation. Storm Kick, decreased stamina cost. Bear Witness, increased cast speed. So we're getting close to the end here. Upward and downward adjustments. Thundercloud Form, decreased damage when not charged, decreased FP cost, increased cast speed, and decreased recovery time. Bug fixes. Fixed a bug where the damage of the Inescapable Frenzy was affected by right-hand weapon. Fixed a bug where the damage of weapon arts carry in retaliation was increased by weapon status and the effect was not displayed correctly during online multiplayer. Fixed a bug where the animation when inflicted with blood loss and frostbite was bigger than originally planned. Oh, are we actually, like, kind of getting up to a more dangerous spot here? Oh yeah, it's the big castle place. Duh. Fixed a bug during character appearance change menu in which some parameter changes were not reflected. And don't worry, we have some more, but I want to show off another area where the performance is like a little iffier as well. We're just kind of going through areas. Fixed a bug that prevented dialogue from appearing when executing leave on some items. Fixed a bug that allowed unauthorized items to be passed to other players. Fixed a bug in multiplayer that prevented Grace to be registered on the map, and it was just found just before players was summoned. Fixed a bug that sometimes prevented the mechanic of Renala, Queen of the Full Moon fight from working properly during cooperative play. Fixed a bug that sometimes prevented the player from entering the boss area after defeating Morgat, the Omen King. That's kind of interesting. Let's switch back to the performance mode, because I know some people obviously want to see that as well. There we go. So, fixed a bug that prevented Edgar the Revenger and Festering Fingerprint Vike from invading after defeating all bosses in the Liurna of the Lake. The item tonic of Forgetfulness can now be obtained at the Volcano Manor if the player wasn't able to attain it due to quest progression issues. That's kind of exciting. Just gonna move past this camp. This place is so grim looking now. Fixed a bug that caused the reduction of runes due to NPC Gostock when player died in Stormveil Castle to occur at an unintended timing. Added a protective barrier to Millicent after helping her at Milka's Helig Tree so that she cannot be unintentionally killed. Fixed a bug that sometimes prevented the player from obtaining a reward after defeating the Dung Eater. Fixed a bug that sometimes prevented the player from progressing Dialysis storyline. Fixed a bug that prevented the player from duplicating the remembrance of the Walking Mausoleum. Fixed a bug that prevented the player from inputting consecutive attacks when dual-wielding thrusting a sword. Fixed a bug that caused the Scythe to lose blood loss effect if poison affinity is applied to the weapon. Oh, interesting. Fixed a bug where the damage of the Iron Greatsword was lower than expected when the infinity is applied. Fixed a bug that caused FP consumption to increase when the player cast Night Comet with charge. Fixed a bug that causes the default key setting on keyboard for weapon skill left control to not be set PC only fix. Fixed a bug on the Steam version where the player's history of who played multiplayer was not displayed correctly under certain circumstances. Oh, I don't want to deal with this guy. Increased online multiplayer stability. Fixed a bug that caused incorrect sounds to be played under certain circumstances. Fixed a bug that caused some places on the map to have incorrect visual and hitboxes. Fixed a bug that causes some enemies to have incorrect visual and behavior. Fixed a bug that causes some armor to have incorrect stats. Test fix. So I guess they just put a test fix in too. Other performance improvements and bug fixes. So this is the 1.04 update. I hope this has kind of been also showing as I've been walking around, you know, exactly how the performance is being fixed. I was wanting to talk about it more, you know, while I was playing, but obviously a big focus was making sure that I got through all of the, you know, the patch notes for you as well. So again, you know, liking the video is great, subscribing is great as well. I believe I didn't kill that guy earlier. I feel more powerful. So he's dead. Cool. So let's continue roaming around the world a little bit. And we'll probably follow up with a Series S look as well. At the update, a little bit more performance-wise and stuff, and kind of a little less on the patch notes because, you know, obviously I covered them in this one. But I hope you've been seeing from the different range of areas that it does also seem like the improvements have been made in regards to performance, even more so than, you know, we necessarily saw with the last update. And I think that's fantastic. I mean, it still probably isn't quite perfect, but for me, I've noticed that it definitely does seem to be running, performing, and acting a lot better. Let's kill this thing in here. I think there's something that gets summoned here, right? The Smoldering Church. Yeah, let's kill this thing. I'm so sick of this monster. Unless you're a god. Okay. I am so satisfied killing that lady. So satisfied.